not most of Scotland. So on you go.
Yeah, yeah. The majority of people I know couldn't care less if the monarchy existed or didn't exist.
Okay.
I think the fact that we're talking about having a slimmed-down monarchy, are we meant to be happy about this, Nick? You know, when people can't heat their houses, people are sending their kids to school hungry, you know?
I don't think you would be...
It makes my blood boil, Nick.
Okay.
When you hear people like yourself bullying Meghan Markle, that's what you're doing because she's a black woman or mixed race.
Wow. How did you get...
me sick, man.
How did you get from a conversation about a possible slimmed-down coronation to your suggestion that I've been bullying Meghan Markle? How did you get to that?
Right-wing gammon media personalities have been bullying Meghan Markle since the word go. Look at it during the Queen's period of mourning. Every time she held Harry's hands, Jesus, man, it was unbelievable.
What did I say?
Remind
me, excuse me, that's quite a serious... Can you tell me what I said every time?
Nothing positive to say about her or Harry.
What did I say, Nick? Well, anyway, we're going off the point. Okay, so you don't want a royal family, clearly.
No.
What will you replace? Okay, would you listen? What would you replace it with?
I'd replace it with an elected House of Lords.
An elected House of Lords? An
elected House of Lords. We don't need an elected head of state in 2022. We are quite capable of making our own decisions, the people of the UK. And
I would imagine you're probably not a fully signed up fan of Boris Johnson or Theresa May or David Cameron. And that's when this nation has made its decisions. They should be in jail, I see.
Yeah, okay. For what they've done to this country. Brexit's ruined the country. It's lit.
But hold on. That was the people making its decision. And so that was a decision they made that you didn't like.
No, they were the people that were pushing the right way. I just wouldn't have a monarchy at all.
Okay, sir. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Let's keep going because this moment deserves more than applause. It deserves analysis. See, what happened on that call wasn't just a caller challenging a host. It was the collapse of a script that had run for far too long. The script where Meghan Sussex is always the problem, always the distraction, always the one who needs to apologize, explain, justify, or disappear. That script has propped up careers. It's sold papers. It's kept certain radio shows on air. And for a while, it worked, because they banked on silence. They counted on people nodding along, staying quiet, or feeling too powerless to interrupt the noise. But that caller interrupted, and not with rage, not with insults, with truth, the kind of truth that echoes long after the radio show ends. Because when he calmly said, "You've been bullying Meghan Sussex," he didn't just end a segment, he disrupted a cycle that needed breaking. Let's talk about how the media treats black women in particular, because this isn't just about Meghan. This is about the global template that gets applied to any black woman who dares to exist outside the margins assigned to her. The moment Meghan showed confidence, she was labeled difficult. The moment she spoke with clarity, she was called manipulative. The moment she advocated for her mental health, they called her dramatic. And the moment she said she wanted peace, they accused her of turning her back on tradition. There's no winning in a system designed to punish your presence. Nick Ferrari isn't alone in this. He's just the latest in a long line of media men who weaponize their platforms to police women who don't play by their rules. And every time someone like him gets confronted with the truth, their fallback is the same tired excuse. It's just commentary. But commentary without conscience isn't journalism. It's just noise. It's just provocation for profit. And when you do that every day, targeting the same woman over and over again, you're not holding power to account. You're misusing yours. Let's not forget the psychological toll of this. Meghan Sussex once said in that Oprah interview, "I just didn't want to be alive anymore." And how did the media respond? With more headlines, with more mockery, with more scrutiny of her every facial expression, outfit, and absence. Let that sink in. A woman says she was suicidal, and instead of stepping back, the media doubled down. That's not journalism. That's cruelty. That's systemic abuse dressed up as public discourse. So when this caller said, "This is bullying," he gave language to what so many of us have been feeling but couldn't say in those spaces. He held a mirror up to a system that has never held itself accountable, and Nick Ferrari recoiled. Because deep down, even he knew the caller wasn't wrong. We have to ask, why are media figures like Nick so invested in tearing Meghan down? Why does it make them so angry that she left? Why does her silence provoke more outrage than other royals' scandals? Because it was never about the rules, it was about control. Meghan walked away, she refused to break, she took her family and built something new. And that shook the institution, and the media that props it up, to its core. And let's not pretend this outrage is consistent. Where was the wall-to-wall coverage when Prince Andrew paid millions to settle a civil lawsuit tied to Jeffrey Epstein? Where were the accountability segments then? Crickets. But Meghan holds her husband's hand and it's breaking news. That's not journalism, that's obsession, that's misogynoir. The brilliance of that male caller wasn't just in what he said, it was in how he said it. Calm, composed, articulate. He didn't come to argue, he came to clarify. He didn't yell, didn't insult, he simply held up the truth and let Nick Ferrari squirm under the weight of it. And in doing so, he did something rare. He made radio history, not because it was flashy, but because it was honest. You know, that honesty is what's been missing in this entire media circus. Honestly, we've just been drowning in hot takes, speculation, body language experts, royal insiders, and, well, headlines designed to stir hate. But truth? Yeah, that's been rare. And that's why this moment hit different. Because for once, the narrative was interrupted. The spin stopped spinning, and finally the truth got through. And I want to be clear, this wasn't just a win for Meghan. This was a win for fairness, for accountability, for every listener who sat through racist dog whistles and veiled misogyny on mainstream platforms and thought, why is no one saying anything? That caller said it. He cracked open the space and made room for reality. And that's revolutionary. Because once the audience starts seeing the playbook, it stops working. Once people understand that Meghan is being vilified not because of what she does, but because of who she is, they start asking better questions. Like, why are we still listening to pundits who haven't had a new take since 2018? Why are we allowing radio hosts to use their platforms to perpetuate stereotypes and silence dissent? And that's the biggest threat to people like Nick Ferrari, not Meghan, but the truth about how the media operates. The truth that the public is waking up to. That the audience is smarter than they think. That we're done playing along. This moment will live on because it marked a shift, a crack in the armor, a reminder that media power is only as strong as the silence it sits upon. And when people, especially men, start breaking that silence, the game changes. So let's not let this be a one-time thing. Let it be a call to action. If you hear something racist, sexist, or cruel on a platform you trust, say something. Write in, call in, push back. Because silence is what fuels this machine. And you know, every voice that disrupts that silence weakens it. To Meghan Sussex, wherever she was while this was happening, know that the world is shifting, that people are seeing you clearly now. You know, despite everything the media has tried to throw at you, the truth is louder. And to the caller who changed the narrative in just a matter of minutes, you showed us all how powerful one voice can be. You reminded us that accountability really starts with courage. And you proved that decency is still alive, even on talk radio. Let the Nick Ferraris of the world take note. The era of unchecked cruelty is ending. The audience is speaking up, and well, the truth is taking center stage.